Have you ever been in the sudden pull of a scandal, where it seems to grip the internet and everyone is talking and speculating? Well, it seems we're living in one of those moments. MrBeast, a YouTube giant known for his mega-sized challenges and giveaways, has finally spoken about the Ava Kris Tyson situation. Now, if you have followed this story, you must be aware that this has been building up over the last few days and is creating quite a storm. And if you just heard about this, be prepared, because it's about to go nuts. The statement from MrBeast was nothing short of a bombshell on the scene, creating ripples of shock within the very fabric of the community. In the last couple of days, he starts off, noting that he is much aware of the grave allegations against Ava Tyson's online behavior and condemning this sort of unacceptable act. There, right from the start, he does not mince words. He uses the word unacceptable. There is no beating around the bush, no sugarcoating. MrBeast is leveling with his fans. He then added that he has been attempting to hire an entirely independent third party during all the controversy to conduct a real investigation. This isn't always a move we see from internet phenomenons in these sorts of scuffles as well. Many are quick to either move in with firm defenses up or duck and cover from further scrutiny without actual moves toward such lofty ends. However, MrBeast does this with a difference, proving that he means business about getting to the bottom of this. "I want to ensure I have all the facts," he says, but then adds, "That said, I've seen enough online and am taking immediate action to remove Ava from the company, my channel, and any association with MrBeast." This lands home because he is not waiting for the finality of the investigation. He's acting now, laying down in clear terms that there's simply no room for this sort of behavior in his world. This accusation has surfaced in recent days and, with the victim stepping up, it is gaining significant traction. And when that happens, it is not just Ava Tyson who is under the microscope, but also MrBeast, who is facing the same scrutiny due to his associations, history, and friends. The complication is that the internet never forgets. Old clips, past statements, and long-buried videos are dug up and analyzed. People try to find a connection or any misstep that might have gone unnoticed. One of these has surfaced, raising some concerns. It's an older video that didn't make it into my last coverage but is worth discussing now. The clip features MrBeast commenting on Bod Bobby, the well-known figure from Dr. Phil. At this time, Bod Bobby was just 14. The clip shows MrBeast saying that he likes Bod Bobby and finds her funny. So far, so good, right? But then the conversation takes an awkward turn. One of the others in the video responds in a way that could be interpreted as inappropriate. MrBeast tries to steer the conversation away from the uncomfortable topic, but the comment is out there and is being examined by everyone. Well, let's have a look at it in context. The clip must be from some years back where edgy jokes and shock value were common currency on the internet. That's not excusing the comments per se, but it does go some way toward understanding why said comments were made. The internet was a very different place back then, 2016, 2017. We're talking about a time when pushing the envelope was a conditioner for making a statement, getting noticed. However, the fact that it was different times back then doesn't mean those comments have aged very well, far from it. What is even more compelling is that this particular podcast episode, with those comments made by MrBeast, is no longer on YouTube. Yes, it has been removed from YouTube for not meeting YouTube community guidelines, and that is why this is even more intriguing. Why was it removed? What more was said in that episode that warranted its removal? What was said clearly went too far, even by the standards of its time. Never mind an era where people are digging up those skeletons and ready to see how they twist into the current narrative. Joining the old podcast was another YouTuber, Leon Lush. The perspective here is interesting because he was there. He was part of that conversation. Commenting on the era in this podcast, according to his statement, Leon Lush described it as that which regarded being edgy as a content strategy. He doesn't shy away from admitting that, viewed in retrospect, it was utterly cringe-worthy. But then he also tries even to explain that. Says Leon, he said that bit, the "you wouldn't put your in her" one. Very next thing, MrBeast says, "I wouldn't do that. She's way too young." That's an important detail, a small but significant point. But does it make a difference? I guess that's up to the reader to decide.
Because I also happened to be in it, and I was there. So hopefully I can offer some honest perspective beyond a Twitter account farming engagement. Now, for context, this was a long time ago at the beginning of our YouTube journey when being edgy was a content strategy. Cringe in hindsight, but those were the times. Here's the first part of the clip.
Then, Leon Lush moves on to explaining the general attitude of the time, when, save for atrocities, saying something that is rooted in offense was almost encouraged if it would get their attention. He even jokes that MrBeast once said, "Wait, let's say something offensive that people can take out of context." That's almost prescient when viewed through the lens of now and how those old comments are being brought into the light, taken apart, and judged by today's standards. But, as Leon points out, let's remember that this was all long ago. And the world is different now, and the internet is different, and the players in this drama have most likely changed also.
And he did say that he enjoys the Catch Me Outside girl.
Well, it's hard to hear, but after the "you wouldn't put your dick in her" statement, I think it's important to note he says, "I wouldn't do that, she's way too young," after the initial unfunny joke. Also relevant was our general demeanor at the time, as he also said this at another point in the podcast.
Wait, let's say something offensive that people can take out of context.
Don't tell me manifestation isn't real, because here we are, almost a decade later. But not to be outdone, after some more innocuous banter, I chimed in with this.
No,
like
seriously.
They are still inappropriate comments, no doubt. No setting would really justify such jokes on age and consent in a paradigm in which the politico ground has shifted underfoot and stakes are so high. It's a stark reminder of how quickly things can come back to bite you, especially when you've built a brand as big and influential as MrBeast's. As if that weren't bad enough, another part of MrBeast's past has been coming to light: his connection with Shadman. Yes, that Shadman is the one I mentioned at the beginning, who is pretty deep in the muck. One incident has been making the rounds, where MrBeast had replied to a tweet which contained a Shadman drawing of Hela from Thor, Ragnarok. Now, the drawing here did not feature minors, but it was most definitely Shadman-esque in its provocative, obscene rendering. MrBeast's answer here is, "Need a big titty anime girlfriend." An apparently innocuous niche, but within the context of Shadman's other work, it has made some people raise their eyebrows. The rumors keep circulating, and more people start to question if there is a bigger story behind what is being said, or if it is just another out-of-context comment taken too seriously. This is a tricky situation since on one hand, MrBeast didn't promote any of Shadman's more controversial work, which included a minor. But then again, the name is so controversial that people speak by its very mention. The complications may appear precisely because, in this day and age, when everybody lives in terror of canceled culture, and judgment by anything that can remotely be considered a bad association may be a death sentence on someone's livelihood, every little idiotic detail does matter. Now this brings us back to the present, to the moment in time when MrBeast has eventually commented on the whole matter himself after remaining quiet for a few days too. It is an impactful statement, but a few questions remain unanswered. Whether it was really an effort to dissociate him from disgusting conduct, or simply a well-thought-out compromise for his brand, it really remains to be seen. We don't know what happened, but one thing for sure in this digital age: the internet never forgets, and the past is always one click away. In light of this, clearly, the Ava Kris Tyson situation opens up a whole can of worms greater than the doings of a single person. It's been brought to light, shedding some dark problems about the YouTube community and what kind of humor was acceptable in those dark days and eras of our existence, and just how fast things have changed. MrBeast, the response is right, but can only time say if the growing concerns can be mitigated? So, what do you think? Does MrBeast's statement come across as genuine, or is it more about damage control? Was this someone's past catching up with them, or are we seeing what happens when internet culture sniffs out the next big scandal? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you haven't yet, be sure to check out my prior videos where I go more in depth into the Shadman logs and the myriad of surrounding aspects that come alive with this unfolding story. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, stay curious, stay informed, and I'll catch you in the next one.